better than I thought. I thought because this is like super late, I thought nobody would be here. So this is the makeup live stream for April 2021. So this month we'll do this one, making up for April, and we'll also do one at the end of the month for May. Like I said in my community post, I had some crazy stuff happen toward the end of the month that just got me super behind. And this is the first step on catching up with that, and then I'll get the budget review and the budget with me filmed. And I should be able to have it all up by next week, hopefully. I'm gonna scoot you guys a little bit closer to me here. I feel like you're super far away. I did end up getting some equipment. Let's turn it on real fast, see if it makes a difference. Maybe. Woo! Okay, let's turn that down. All right, well it's actually, I have good natural lighting in here, but just, there we go. So I did get a professional lighting setup, at least a good ring light and a pretty good stand. So getting there, guys. But anyway, so this is the April 2021 makeup live stream, and we're streaming it on May 6th, 2021, because my life went crazy. So here we are. First things first, I see that Jennifer is in the chat. I'm not sure when she posted that comment. It could have been a while ago. But Jennifer, I think, if you're the person I'm thinking of, I think your name changed. I think it was just Jennifer before. So if you're Jennifer from Sweden that joins my streams, let me know. Let me know in the comments. So what we're going to do here today, basically, I'm going to tell you guys briefly what happened in April, that everything went crazy. And then as I'm saying that, you guys can start sending questions in, and then I'll answer those as they come in. And we'll just hang out here for a little while, maybe an hour or two. So basically what happened to me in April was March 31st, I got out of the office lease. And so starting in April, I no longer have to pay that $300 a month. That should have been a blessing, and it was. Suddenly I had all that free time that I was spending moving stuff out of the office, you know, I just had available. And so that's how I was on top of making videos for like the first 2/3 of April. But then something happened. Basically, I was on top of everything, back on a regular work schedule, getting my life together and getting caught up. And then about mid-April, a few things happened. The biggest one being that, so it's a kind of, I don't know how much I should say on here, but basically my girlfriend started having some issues, and then those affected me. They were like health issues. So yeah, so I was dealing with that. I think I just got like burnt out. Because if you think back to May of last year, I was working 84 hours a week, and I did that from May to October. And then as soon as I got home in October, I had to move out of my apartment by myself, and that took forever. And then I got moved out of my apartment and into my office. And then as soon as I got settled in the office, I had to move out of the office. So it's crazy. Like I just don't even know. Like I just have not been able to stop and get caught up on things the whole time I've been here. And I'm still dealing with issues, like they never sent me my deposit when I moved out of my apartment. And same with the office. So there's a lot of those previous issues that just keep snowballing because none of them get resolved. And I'm dealing with all of that stuff. So that's what's been going on. Jennifer, yes. Okay, so I see you in the comments. So it looks like your name changed back. Okay. So glad you're here. Don't know why my name changed. Yeah, I don't know. But I'm glad you're here. I know the timing of my streams usually is at a time, you know, that it's middle of the night there. Okay, I think we're back. So we've got lagging and we've already got one disconnect. So hopefully this isn't going to be a major problem today. But yeah, anyway, basically I have the highest, fastest internet available, and I don't get anywhere near the speeds that are advertised. So unfortunately, this is the best I can do in West Virginia. But with that said, it looks like there's 7 people on right now. If I could just ask you guys, for those of you who are on, if you haven't yet, just put a like on the video. I don't know if you guys have noticed on my channel. Yes, it is late. Okay. Oh, so it's late where you are in Sweden. Yeah, I normally would do later in the day here, but I didn't want to wait anymore. Basically, some of the stuff that was setting behind, I at least got caught up on a little bit, to the point I could get caught up on the channel. And if I tried to wait till this weekend, that's another, 3 days or something, that this stream would be even later. So I just wanted to do it as soon as possible. But yeah, basically just working on getting caught up on the channel and getting caught up on my life right now. But yeah, so as you guys can see in the background, I have not completed. I've completed moving everything into the apartment, but not completed putting things away or cleaning. That's why the stove is taken apart in the background. But it's getting there. And I think I've mentioned in previous streams that I will be moving to Raleigh, North Carolina, sometime in August. Give me 1 second, guys. My AC is kicking on, and I'm sure it's going to pick up on the mic. There we go. That is one downside to this place. I have baseboard heating, and I just have a window AC that is mounted in the wall. This is a really small apartment. It's only 350 square feet. So this can cool the entire place, but it's not quiet like central air. So can't run the air conditioner while I'm streaming. Let's see. So we got a couple questions coming on. What is your view on professional sports? Did you play sports as a kid? So I'm not big into sports, and the biggest reason as to that is my parents weren't. My parents were not the least bit interested in sports. They kind of derided sports anytime anybody brought it up. That said, my mom does occasionally watch some college football on TV, but that's it. My dad's not into it at all. Now, my dad did powerlifting when he was in college, but he also worked at a furniture store, and he ended up getting a hernia from lifting a refrigerator there, so he couldn't lift anymore. I did play sports, but it was sort of my choice and not what my parents wanted. So it wasn't the normal, like, early childhood, like, playing on the elementary school team. My sports experience is what was the first thing I played? I don't even know. I want to say probably soccer. And soccer didn't really exist hardly at all in this area back then. So I actually had to go on a traveling team that played in the next state because I wanted to learn. And it was a U14 team, but I was like 12. I think it was 12. Yeah. But anyway, I played for 4 seasons there. I was supposed to play soccer in high school, but I missed the signups. I was also in band in junior high, so when my band director found out I missed the signups, he's like, "Hey, do you want to do marching band?" Now, I know a lot of people are like, "Okay, marching band's not a sport," and it can be, depending on how it's handled and what school you go to and how they view it. At my school, we were terrible at sports, and the band was really good. So, band was the cool thing, if you can imagine that. So I did marching band for 1 year in high school, and after I graduated, I volunteered with the band for a couple years. I was a marching technician with the marching band and pep band director, and it was funny because by that point they actually would send the football team to practice with the band because our work routes were more strenuous. I also did drum corps for 2 years. I was in a military band. I wasn't in the military, but I was in a band that was part of the military. So just have to make that distinction. And that also had like a field show. And what else did I do? Oh, and I ran track for 2 years in high school, junior and senior year. I was the pace setter for the 800 during warm-ups, and I did 800s, and I also did long jump. So I wasn't like good or anything, but like I was part of the team. Let me think. Oh, and then in college, I got into doing road races. So, like 5Ks. And back in 2015, I was training to be a half marathon runner, which I got up to where I was running like 50 miles a week. And on Sundays was my long run, so I do 10 or 11 miles. And that is my limit now because I messed myself up doing that. My body like freaked out, and that's when I first got fat. I was at the healthiest point in my life, and I was the most athletic in my life, and something just snapped in my body. My body was just like, no, dude, you are too healthy, and I just started gaining weight, and that's been 6 years ago now, and I'm just literally in April, because I was so stressed out about everything that's happened. I got down to about 177 for my weight, or no, actually this morning is 175. So I'm within 7 pounds. Yeah, 7 pounds of my goal weight. I should be 168. That's perfect for me. And I haven't been there in 6 years, but I'm pretty close to that now. And then I see Jennifer says, how is the catching up on the channel and life going? Well, if I'm being honest, it's not going that well. I am making some progress, but it is very little. Catching up on the channel was going very well for the first half of April before everything went crazy. And now we're just going to kind of have to see how May goes, because I'm even farther behind now. The plan would be basically I'm going to do this video, and then over the weekend I'm going to try to get everything ready and film the April budget review and the May budget with me, and then hopefully start editing them on Wednesday of next week to get up there. And I have a couple small videos that I want to put up this month as well, and then of course do the May live stream at the end of this month. So that's kind of where that is. But there's so much more. That's just the bare minimum, and there's so much more I want to do with the channel. I have to be able to sit down and just kind of, I don't know, find time to do it. Now, I will say that tomorrow, I'm going to take a little bit of time out of what would normally be my work schedule, because my girlfriend is, we're doing something tomorrow. I have something planned, and I don't want to say it in case she's watching the live stream. It's supposed to be a surprise, but we're going out and doing something, and I want to take that time to see her because she's going to be starting back to work soon. She had to take a leave of absence from work, and she's been off for a couple of months, something like that. And she will be going back probably starting this weekend. So I think Friday, tomorrow, is going to be like her last day off for a while. So I want to spend that with her. And then catching up on life, well, that's going about the same way, except maybe not quite as good. It's not going quite as well as even catching up on the channel, because this, obviously, I got to put content out for you guys, and it does hold me to a certain standard of getting things done and out there. Whereas my life, nobody really cares if that gets done or not. So if you guys could see like a 360 view of this place, it is a disaster right now. But I am trying. I have goals set. I have ideas of when to do things. And I'm doing little by little, like one project at a time. There's no way in actual hell I will have all this done by the time I go to North Carolina. But the goal is that I've got about 5 categories, and I just want to make significant progress into all of those. And then Jennifer said, can you please tell us about the crazy landlord at the office? Yes. It is my goal this month to film an entire video about that. And it's going to be a really pretty long video because the story is just so weird and complicated. But essentially, just to give you guys a little bit of a preview, I rented an office space back in August, and I picked up the keys in September. I had a 1-year lease, meaning that I should have had the office through August. Hey, Colors of Avon, thanks for coming to watch the stream. Um, but yeah, essentially it was just supposed to be a normal office space. That was it. That was all it was supposed to be. And I don't know what happened, but it was a normal office space when I rented it. But by the time I came home from the job I was working, and then started like actually moving my stuff in there, the whole scenario, it just got weirder and weirder and weirder, and there were a bunch of people living in their offices, which obviously I was too. But if you live in an office space, you think, well, you're gonna be the only one there, but that's not what happened. And then they opened a nightclub, and there was like a motorcycle chop shop, and at one point there were people literally riding motorcycles down the hallway in the building. I had a drunk guy passed out outside my door for hours at a time where I couldn't even leave. There were random like pit bull, like vicious type dogs roaming the hallways. And then I also found out that there was like a white supremacist motorcycle gang that was like their clubhouse or something. I don't know. And I mean, guys, that's just the basis. There is so much more to that it's actually going to be in the video. I have no idea how that even happened. Because like I said, I did my due diligence of the building. It was totally normal. It was just an office space when I moved in. And then like as soon as I like moved in there, it just went crazy, and I don't understand. And then you guys will see in the video the conversations with the landlord. I actually think the landlord is actually crazy. Like, I mean, the stuff he was telling me sounded like he was some sort of paranoid, delusional thing. Max says, just an update with my drone business. Oh yeah, I remember you saying that last month. I have not gotten any clients. It's really fun to fly, but it seems like it's not easy to make money with it. So I'm not sure about like getting your first clients with that, but I'm not sure if you looked into it or not. I mentioned it last live stream, but there's a local company, well, local to me, called Brown Owl Imaging, and they do for-hire drone photography and videography. And that's something that you could look into just to kind of see how they've got it structured and what they're doing. But you know, maybe look at the types of videos that they're shooting, like for the types of businesses that they're shooting for, and then look into maybe setting up an Instagram like that. And you know, that way you can feature what you created, and you can reference back to it when you're talking to people about what you can do for them. Colors of Avon, a nightclub. Yeah. So basically, what it was, it's an office building. So the first floor is like, you know, businesses that face the street, and then there are like office spaces on the upper floors. And I had an office space. Well, the problem was, shortly after I moved in, they opened a nightclub, which was like a skinhead biker bar, and they also had a lot of live music there, but it was real sketchy stuff. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of a rapper called Fujiano, but he had like a private party there, and there was like a shootout. It just crazy stuff. Yeah, Jennifer, oh my God, sounds insane. Wow, Tanya says that. Yeah, Tanya and Max, if you want to talk about your business, that's fine. Feel free to do that in the chat. Jennifer says, how is your mental and physical health? You look well. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So the reason I got this all grown out right now is just because I have something I got to shave for tomorrow. And I hate shaving. And also, if I don't grow this out for 2 or 3 days, when I do shave, I get razor burn. So got to grow it out pretty long so that I have a smooth, you know, shave. Other thing about looking good, like I said, weight-wise, I'm down to within like 7 pounds of my goal weight. After that, I don't know what you guys think about it, but I'm actually thinking about getting cool sculpting because I do have this like little thing right here, and there was a period of about 6 months when I got fat in high school. It was some kind of medicine I was on, and it was like a side effect of it. And I went from like 135 to like 205. It was a huge difference. And when I lost that weight, like this never went away. And some of it's probably just age now too, because I think that sags naturally. But it bothers me, and I wanted to always do something about it. But it's like the last thing where I lose weight and it never goes away completely, even when I'm at like super good physical shape. So I am thinking about doing cool sculpting. And if I do decide to do that, I will make some videos about it, vlogging, getting it done, and my results and stuff like that. I know like a lot of guys are, well, either they're not self-conscious enough to care to get it done, or if they do get it done, they would be too self-conscious to like put it out there online. But honestly, I don't care. I'm pretty open. So I think I'm gonna document that experience. Um, Physical health, a lot of weight lost, so that's good. The way I lost the weight, probably not healthy. It was fairly rapidly. I lost about 11 or 12 pounds in 2 weeks. And that was mostly because I was so upset and stressed out that I wasn't eating much at all, and I was trying to force myself to eat here and there. My appetite decreased a lot. That has increased a little bit. Like, I actually went to the gas station and got junk food yesterday. So, I am eating, and I think I'm just kind of taking the positive in this, where despite like whatever reason this happened, my stomach has shrunk up now. I don't eat nearly as much, and I can eat a small TV dinner, and that's enough for me for a meal. So I'm going to be intaking fewer calories, and it's still not warm here. Somehow it is still not warm here, but whenever it actually finally gets warm, I'll be much more active because I can go outside and do stuff. My girlfriend wants to go hiking here soon. So, hopefully I'll get out and just naturally burn off some calories as well. And then you also said mental health. Well, okay, that one's not that great right now, to be quite honest. That fluctuates a lot depending on what's going on in my life, and it's just a constant battle to take away the stressors. Because for me, if I can get stuff done around the house and get caught up on stuff, that is the most immediate way for me to take away the stressors that kind of cause my mental health problems. And that's kind of the whole thing I'm doing down here, right? Like with my financial goals this year, they're all involving getting my life together. So it's all interconnected. I will say mental health wise, I'm probably not very good right now. But I mean, I guess I'm okay. Like, I'm not like in danger or anything. It's just I'm not in what feels like a good place mentally. But I am also aware of that, and it's something that I am striving for. And good news, when I get to Raleigh, I will start going to counseling again. So that's a conversation that was had, and hopefully, yeah, I mean, I don't have like a primary issue to work on right now. I think I need my counselor more as like a life coach or something, but I'll start doing that, and hopefully that'll help with some things as well. Max says, "What's your opinion on nightclubs? Unless you're famous, I think it's overrated." Yeah, I don't really like to go out to bars or nightclubs or anything like that. I have, and like in college, of course, I did when people would want to go out, but it was never really my choice. And yeah, unless you're famous, I think it's overrated. Yeah, I mean this sketchy club, man. They have like this VIP section that's literally just there's like a curtain hung from the ceiling that sections it off, and then they have like this old lazy boy recliner in there, and then like that's their VIP section. It's ridiculous. Um, yeah, I don't see it. Now there will be some bars like when we go to Raleigh. They've got an axe throwing bar. I'm not big into drinking. I don't even like bars, but it is a bar where you throw axes, so I want to go for that. I might not even drink. Girlfriend probably will, but pretty much, pretty much just that. Um, I guess you asked my opinion. I guess I would say my opinion is not super high. I just like don't drink hardly ever, and if I do, it's just because somebody gives me something. Jennifer says, "Are you and the girlfriend living together now?" So, no. Uh, the clear answer is no, but basically what happened with that is we've literally been talking about moving in since 2014. So it's just been something here and there, and since 2019, it's something that we've been seriously discussing. If you guys remember last year, we almost bought a house together, and then, you know, I don't know if you'd say we broke up temporarily or what exactly happened, but also COVID hit right at the same time. And with all that, we stopped, and she ended up getting her own apartment. Well, let me back up. So we stopped, and then I went off and was working my job where I was traveling around the country. And while I was doing that, she got an apartment. I did not know, she didn't tell me until later, that she expected me to move in with her when I got back. But like, she never told me that. So I just went back to Columbus, was there for a couple months, and decided on my own to move down here, you know, in part to be with her. And then when I got down here, she's like, "Why did you not tell me?" And so at that point, I was living in my office. So I was gonna say, like, well, I mean, could I stay with you then, since you wanted me to live with you in the first place? And then she had all this chaos in her life, so that didn't happen. And then I had to get an apartment on 2 days' notice here because of all the stuff going on with the office. So I ended up getting my own place, and she has her own place. We live a 4-minute drive from each other. She lives downtown, like hardcore downtown. I live in the middle of the woods, but I'm just 2 exits down the highway from her. And so we are super close. I'm over there frequently. She has never come over here. She's never asked, and quite frankly, with, as you guys can see, it looks in the background, I'm fine with that. I am fine with her not seeing how I'm living. But, you know, the plan is right now, we are moving in together sometime in August or September. It's a little complicated right now because my contract starts August 1st. But so my contract starts August 1st, but I'm going to try to push it till August 15th before I actually have to be there. And I think they're okay with that. The idea was I was just going to pay her last month of rent for her and just bring her with me. My lease ends August 31st, her lease ends September 1st. So we should be able to do that. But her lease actually has this weird clause in it where she has to physically be in her apartment. I don't know how they would verify that or why that is ever even a stipulation, but she has to physically be in her apartment until the last date of her lease. So I have to be in Raleigh, North Carolina, probably by the 15th at the absolute latest. She has to be in West Virginia until September 1st. So the current plan, and this sounds ridiculous, the current plan is I am actually going to get all of my stuff ready, get a U-Haul, put everything in it, then load my car on a trailer behind a U-Haul, and I'm going to drive to North Carolina by myself, leaving her here for anywhere between 2 to 4 weeks. Then move in, which is going to be the busiest time of my job, is like right at the beginning where I start my job. And once I'm through that, then I'm going to fly from Raleigh, North Carolina to Parkersburg, West Virginia, have her pick me up at the airport, stay with her, and then we're going to load up all of her stuff in a U-Haul and put her car on a trailer. And so it's just insane. Like, but that's logistically how it's going to have to work out for her to move at a separate time than me. Um, Max says, I have been to axe throwing. I think it's overpriced and arm hurts. I'd rather go canoeing or go karts, but it's worth it to try. Yeah, for sure. And yeah, it's just a try thing. My girlfriend's like really aggressive. I think she'll love it because of the violence aspect. But I think go karts is a good tip too. We don't have that here anymore. We used to, and it went out of business. But I think she'd love that. I know go karts can get pretty expensive, but we'll just do it for like a date night or something. Um, and you're right. Like, I'm sure my arm will hurt after doing the axe throwing. Back when my stepdad had a farm, I used to throw. I learned how to throw a machete. Like, not to like stick it in anything, but like just to throw it and get it to stick in the ground every time I threw it. I got pretty good at that, so I know that feeling in your arm. Um, Yeah, Jennifer says, geez, move in together already. Yeah, I wish you would tell her that. I really wish you would, because it's always her idea to move in together, but she's also always the one dragging her feet. So I really think that it's going to happen this time. She does not like her apartment. She does not like this town. She, right now, may or may not have a job. She's about to find out about that. Because she had to take a leave of absence, and she's not sure if they'll let her come back because she's been gone for a couple months. So she may have to move to get a job anyway. And, um, and she wants to go. Like, we're going to North Carolina, which is where she used to vacation as a kid. She likes it. Um, it's warm, which is what she asked for. So I think she's really excited to go. And, I mean, I'm excited to do this too, because, I mean, you're right. Like, we've been together a long time. Like, it's time for us to move in. Um, and yeah, so Jennifer, yeah, wait, you're moving again. Yes, again, I'm moving. Basically, short version is I was in Columbus for almost 6 years. Wait, 6 years? No, almost 5 years. I was in Columbus. And then I did move around all last summer, but I kept my apartment in Columbus. I mean, yeah, I was in like everywhere in the US working, but I was just traveling around working. I still had my apartment in Ohio. I gave that up, moved to the office, then had to move from the office to an apartment here in the same city as the office. And then from there, I got a job in Raleigh, North Carolina. So we'll be going to North Carolina. The ultimate goal is after a year or two in North Carolina, and with the money we save there, we are trying to move to a normal country that has healthcare. That is how this started. She has some health problems. I fortunately don't, but I also can't afford to go to a doctor for literally anything. So, yeah, I'm 35. I know at some point I'm gonna have to go to a doctor for something, and I'd like to take care of myself, but I just can't afford to. So that is what we're gonna do. Is we're going down there to start our setting up housekeeping together. But the ultimate goal is to go somewhere. Now she wants Canada or Australia. I do not want Australia because it's isolated. I feel like I'm gonna be trapped there. Um, and also everything wants to kill you, and I don't like that. Uh, I would be okay with Canada, except that it's so damn cold. So there's that. Um, we got to look at some other options and see, where it would take us, really. But we do, I mean, maybe Eastern Europe, because Eastern Europe's still pretty civilized, and they just, like, I know the Czech Republic, for one, that's a place that a lot of people move to. Um, so that's a possibility. But we got a lot of places we got to look into. So if any of you guys have any ideas of where to move that would take two unfortunate Americans who want to find a better life, let me know. Let me know about that in the comments. But I'll look for it too. And it also looks like we're glitching again. Glitching again, and I don't know. I see you guys are back. What are some goals you are proud to have achieved? Well, I think first and foremost, probably, I mean, I'd say graduating college. I went to a really academically tough school, so I do really appreciate what I learned from that and the abilities it gave me as far as basically believing that I can do anything I set my mind to. When I was a senior in college, I was super proud to uh, being the honored marshal, which is now called the vice president of ritual and traditions. Um, I was able to logistically organize a catered event with no experience for a large number of people, and that gave me a lot of self confidence that I was able to do that. I think, honestly, like even though most people would look at my financial situation and be like, "Oh my God, like what the hell, dude?" Like, but almost all that student loans now. I've gotten myself, my credit score's gone up like 200 points. I've really gotten myself out of all debt except for $2,000 worth of credit card debt and the student loans that everybody has forever. Um, and I'm well on my path now to being self-employed, whether it be fully with YouTube or YouTube among some other things. Um, I mean, what are some goals you're proud to have achieved? Most of my goals are small. It's like cleaning out the storage unit, stuff like that. I think my goals are more practical. So when I do have those goals, it's going to be like when I get to a point where I have the flexibility and freedom of my lifestyle where I can live just off what I do on YouTube, that I can enjoy my life. And I want to provide her a good life. Um, right now she's a waitress and she works really hard and she gets paid like $2.08 an hour. Um, she works her ass off and works like 70 hours a week. And I don't want her to have to do that. Well, I don't think she actually has to, but she wants to work. So, but even if she wants to do it, I don't want her to feel like she has to and that she'd lose her apartment or her car if she didn't. So that's something I want to do. And I just think, I don't know. I mean, just think my goals are more practical. Earn enough money, doing my own thing to support myself and support her, to live a happy life. And I would like to enjoy it along the way. Travel and do fun activities. Um, yeah, pretty much that. So, whatever those things are, they are my goals. So, once I accomplish them, I'll be pretty proud of that. And I guess overall, just I've had a lot of really difficult years, and I've gotten through it fairly unscathed. So, I guess making it through all that too. That's probably the biggest accomplishment, if not goal, that I've had over the last, what would that be, 8 years? I remember watching one of your videos where you in detail explained your business plan. Is that still your long-term goal? Yes. So, I have not watched that video over for a long time. So I can't say like specifically, but yeah, it is. I do want to eventually have a property management business, and I do want to do YouTube full time. And so basically, yeah, to be self-employed. And I should probably rewatch that video. It's based on a lot of ideas that I had back in 2010 that I've been working for the last 11 years to be self-employed. So this is how long it's taken me, but I have been fully self-employed since October. So it's worked out. And now that I have this new job in Raleigh, that's going to extend me being able to work on YouTube like this until at least May of 2022. Because the Raleigh job is an independent contractor position, and I'm only working 10 hours a week. So, I mean, yes, it's a job, sort of, but it's not a huge time commitment either. And I get free housing, free utilities, and basically it's very much worth it. Oh, and I get paid $800 a month on top of that. So I will definitely be able to live off the reduced expenses, the money they do give me, and then what I can make from YouTube and other sources online. Plus, with the girlfriend there, the girlfriend is insisting on paying me rent, so we'll see how that works out. But I probably will have that as a source of income too. She's very independent, and even though she's fine with living with me, she wants to contribute her share. But since we don't have rent and utilities, she just basically has told me she's just going to pay me rent. So, yeah, I mean, that'll be bringing in even more money. But yeah, Jennifer, that is my long-term goal. Also, I do want to expand the channel more so, because, like, no, don't let her pay rent. It's weird. Well, that's what I told her too. I mean, I was excited because I was like, hey, I'm like gonna be able to provide for us. Like, you know, she pays, I think it's $510 a month right now in rent, and I was like, I'm gonna be able to take that away. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about utilities. And she's like, no, I don't want to leech off of you. So, you know, I don't want to make her feel bad. So we'll see what happens. I mean, because I was thinking about, like, also, like, maybe she could do something around the house that would, like, be her contribution. But she doesn't cook, so it wouldn't be that, because that's, like, the main thing I can't do. She is to a larger extent of that to me. She orders out every meal, so at least I can warm stuff up. Yeah, you're right, Jennifer. So I'm not paying rent. I know. I know it's not leeching because I'm getting the place for free, but that's the way that she's looking at it. She I think she just, hey, George. Um but yeah, she sees it as her leeching off of me, and I don't see it that way at all. But I have to try to make her feel comfortable with the situation, and she's just so fiercely independent. She's gonna have to contribute something, and that's the way that she's looking at it right now. So we'll see what it looks like in practice. I don't know. Yeah. Hey, George. So we've been on for 43 minutes so far. If you want to scroll through the chat, that should tell you what you've missed. Basically, people have just been putting questions there, and I've just been answering as we go. That's basically what I'm going to do today. We're just going to hang out, ask questions, I'll answer. We'll be here for, Yes. So Jennifer says save her rent money and go on a trip together. That's a really good idea. Because if you guys remember, oh, George, yeah, no opening statement really. I was just basically saying why this live stream is so late and why the April live stream is in May. And I talked about some of the videos that I'm going to put up hopefully this month, but not really. You didn't really miss anything there. So Jennifer says save her rent money and go on a trip together. Yeah, that's a good idea. See, I'm already taking her on a trip. And so she is a huge Michigan fan. And she lives in West Virginia, but she's never made it to Ann Arbor. And I've been to Ann Arbor one time because I was at a work training in Detroit. And I drove to Ann Arbor to go to the bookstore to get her a shirt a few years ago. And Ann Arbor's cool. It's fine. But for her, it's like an absolute dream to go to Ann Arbor. So I have a lot of stuff planned. I don't want to reveal it publicly because, again, she might watch the stream. But I have a lot of stuff planned, and I'm going to show her an amazing time. We're probably going to be there for 3, 4, 5 days. It's just going to be a cool road trip. We're going to get an Airbnb. Has she been to Athens? You mean Athens, Ohio? Yeah, let me know if you mean Athens, Ohio, and I'll let you know about that. But yeah, Ann Arbor is just like this dream place for her to go to. She's such a big Michigan fan. Yeah, George. Yeah, George, are you local to the area? Um, like to know Athens? Because I'm actually, I'd say a 45-minute to an hour drive from Athens. I'm in Parkersburg. If you guys hear anything, I am filling this up. No, you said in a live stream that it was one of your favorite places. Yeah, you're right. Um, so yes, Athens, Ohio is one of my favorite places, and I would love to take her. Um, Maybe that is like a day trip that we can take before we leave here. I would love to take her, and it's going to depend on a few things. She is starting back to work this weekend, I think. So that might hinder it a little bit, but I would definitely love to take her, especially because I went to OU for 2 years, and I kind of want to show her like where I went to college and just sort of my formative years. So I would like to take her there. That's a good idea. Um, and I'll try to do that. And Jennifer, I got sidetracked, but you said to save that money and take her on a trip. So I already have the money for the Ann Arbor trip. Um, but you're right. Once we get down to North Carolina, there will be places around there that we'll want to explore. Her parents own a beach in North Carolina that she hasn't been to since she was a little kid. So maybe we can spend the money to drive an hour or two to the coast and maybe in the early fall do like a beach Airbnb kind of thing. Um, she just she had a long-term illness where she just missed out on most of her 20s and didn't get to really enjoy and experience life, and she's really trying to make up for it right now, but at the same time she just works so much and she works so hard that like she doesn't have time. And so that's part of what I'm doing is just making it work for her. But I did want to say a few months back, I think it was February maybe, I paid her rent for her because she had COVID, so she couldn't work. And she missed out on like a month of work. So I did pay her rent for her, and I was not expecting her to pay that back. I just gave that to her. But she is insisting now that she has the money that she wants to pay me back. So I actually do think that I'm going to take that money she pays me back and just set it aside, and I'll put it back toward her when we go to Ann Arbor and do something special for her. And Jennifer says, would you do a live stream with her or a video? For sure, yeah. So I'm not sure how comfortable she is being on camera, but if she's cool with it, yeah, absolutely. And if you guys would want to do, maybe a live stream where you can ask her questions too, she's cool as hell. I would just have to ask her if she'd be cool with it. Colors of Avon says the government provides 80 hours COVID-19 sick leave by law. So yeah, that is something that we've been kind of struggling with. So basically, she works at a chain restaurant, and looks like we're starting to lag or get glitchy there again. So she works at a large chain restaurant, and unfortunately, there's a lot of sketchy stuff going on in that place. Them doing a lot of things they're not supposed to do, and not doing a lot of things they're supposed to do. So, of course, when she got COVID, she got quarantined and couldn't work. And during the quarantine period, they were supposed to pay her hourly wage, which is like $2 an hour. They were supposed to pay that for her for that time period. They didn't. She fought him on it. I think maybe she got part of it eventually, but they definitely did not do the thing they were going to. But then again, if it's 80 hours of work and she makes $2 an hour, and it's $160 before taxes, so it's not a huge amount anyway. So I don't know what ended up happening with that or if she continued to fight it. And George says, "What is that background? You moved to Ohio." George, do you mean the background back here behind me? This is my mess of an apartment right now. I was in Ohio. I'm in West Virginia. This is my semi-functional, currently, kitchen that needs to be cleaned. And then just a whole bunch of random crap behind me that I haven't found a place for yet. But I got my couch here. I've got 3 enormous floor-to-ceiling windows here and another one here. So it's just, and also have my ring light on. So I just have it set up in this position because this is really good lighting. Colors of Avon says she can call HR for herself. Yeah, so she's been having an issue with that. She's gone to her general manager. She's gone to her actual manager. And every time she goes, like, toward that direction of contacting HR, like, pretty much everybody's just like, we don't care. Nobody cares. And now I don't know if she's contacted corporate. I'm sure she probably doesn't want to. She probably thinks she'll get fired or something. So that's a whole issue too. George says, okay, it's different from the office with the wallpaper. Yeah. So this is just the background of my Parkersburg apartment. The office, yes, had the blue walls with the mandalas. You guys give me a second. I'm going to have a coughing fit. I don't know what happened to me. I'm not sick, but not last night, but the night before. I kept waking up during the night coughing. I feel fine, but maybe it's just allergies or something. But if I do that again, that's what's going on. But yeah, so that's different. I no longer have the office. They let me out of the lease there. Unfortunately, I think they won't give me the deposit back, but at least I don't have to pay the rent anymore. And I will be in this apartment, let's see, for the May, June, and possibly July live streams. And then the August live stream, I will be somewhere in North Carolina. Although, well, to be fair, because that's going to be at the end of the month, I might actually be here. I might be live streaming from her apartment. I'm not sure. Because that's going to be the iffy month where I've moved and she hasn't moved yet, and I'm trying to get her moved. But yeah, that's why the background is different. And eventually, guys, I'll have all that cleaned up back there and it won't look so bad. Like, why is there a printer sitting on top of my refrigerator? Because I have nowhere else to set it right now. So I'm working on all of that, but there's so much to do. It's a very slow process. Are you visiting friends or family in North Carolina, or just you two for vacation? We're moving. So I got a job in Raleigh, and I'll be there sometime in August. She's got to wait until September until she can move, so I'm coming back to get her after that. But we're moving to Raleigh, and my contract is through May of 2022, but it is renewable. So as long as she's cool with it, we'll renew for a second year, and we'll figure it out from there. And I'm just kind of, as far as I know, I don't know anybody in North Carolina. I mean, maybe I'll look up on Facebook and see if people I knew from college moved there or something, but I can't think of anybody I know there. So it's not really a vacation. I mean, it sort of is a vacation because we're like moving to like a nicer, fun area. And once we get settled in, we'll probably take some road trips. We'll go up to the mountains, go to the beach, stuff like that. George, oh wait, Jennifer says, kind of a repeat question, but when do you plan on starting the real estate business? The idea seems pretty great. It depends on how I do it. If I just make some connections and I start managing a property for somebody, I could start that like anytime. Now, it wouldn't make sense to do here because I'm leaving here, but that is something I could potentially do in Raleigh once I make some connections. Um, those don't usually pay very much. Normally, it might be $50 or $60 a month per unit. So it would have to be a fairly big number of units to start doing that. If I am talking about property management, that's probably going to be pretty far down the road, several years. And then if we're talking about, well, it could have even happened last year. See, if I buy a house, I won't buy a single unit. I'm going to house hack. Like, I'll buy a duplex, triplex, something with a detached garage with an apartment above it. I'm always going to find a way to have a unit to rent out, and I just refuse to buy a house that doesn't have that. So basically, whenever I look at buying a property, that's when I can start doing that. And I'm open to long-term rentals or Airbnb. I've been a host with that before, so yeah, I'll just see what I can make the most doing. And George says, what sort of job? Don't need to mention company, but what is it? So my title is house director, and essentially I am going to be working for a fraternity, and I'm going to be living in the fraternity house. The position, I don't really do discipline or anything like that. That's not what it is. I basically look after the physical property of the house. I do like weekly walkthroughs with the house manager and one of the undergraduates. I attend 4 chapter meetings a month. Now, a meal plan is not included in mine, but for locations where there are meal plans, you are also required to eat once a week with the guys. They're really the most thing you do is move in, you help with move in, you help with move out. Those are the busy times. And then you're there for some meetings. You're there as a contact point for the national fraternity to have somebody there on the ground. And you are technically on call at night, but it's like they have, what's the word? Delegated so many of the responsibilities that you would think this position would have. They've delegated them out that you don't really have to do much. And I don't have to do any maintenance myself or anything like that. We just hire somebody. Same with cleaning. Colors of Avon says even more reason for her to go to personnel since she's moving away. So I think what the plan is, and we're gonna find out more tomorrow because she's going in to talk to her boss. But I think the plan is gonna be to transfer. Even she does not like her job, but like she's been there a year and a half about, so she is concerned with just showing that she will stick with the job long term, and she's shown that. So what she's wanting to do is just transfer to the same restaurant. Oh, holy crap! Thank you, Jennifer. Okay, I'll get to your question next then, since you sent me the super chat. Thank you. So what was I saying? Oh, yeah, personnel. So I think what she's trying to do is just stay on good terms with the company and not get fired, and not get a bad record. So we're reconnected. I don't know what just happened there. But answering Jennifer's question, what is your opinion on the FIRE movement? So personally, I'm not part of the FIRE movement, but I have no problem with it. If that's what they want to do, I think that's completely fine. I myself, I think I can't ever say I wouldn't retire, and I can't ever say I'd retire, because my business is just basically going to be making videos, and you know, I don't feel like there's ever a reason to stop that because I enjoy doing this, and it doesn't like feel like work to me. Now, my opinion of it, as far as like if it's a good idea, sure. I think that if that's where you're at, Now, I do think that the FIRE movement is hard to get into for somebody like me who has a lot of debt, because you've got to have that period of time where you're getting to your number, whatever your number is that you need to have in order to be self-sustaining. Because I know they take, what is it, 3 or 4% out a year or something. But because it would take me so long to pay off my debt and then to start undoing this, I'd be like 100 by the time I could retire anyway, using FIRE. So it's not really an option for me, but if somehow I start making massive money and have all that extra money, I mean, sure, I can do that. But I think for like more normal people who are not anywhere near as and far in debt as me and can actually do it, I think, yeah, like it's definitely something that yeah, I think it's definitely something where it would be useful, at least. I think that I think it's a good idea, and I haven't looked super far into it. I just know the basics, but I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And in sort of an indirect way, I mean, it is kind of what I'm trying to do too. Um, Not to retire early, but to have the financial independence and just not having to rely on working. I can work when or how I want. Um, okay, so George says, "Oh, okay, I remember you mentioning that. Is it full time?" It is not full time. So that's the good thing about it. Because I'm doing YouTube technically full time right now, although my life got crazy and got in the way. But so it is not full time. It's only 10 hours a week. And with 10 hours a week, I get $800 a month, and I get free housing and free utilities, and free internet with that too. And then because I'm going to be part of the campus community, I also get access to like the college library with they have lighting and video equipment and DSLRs, and so the quality of all the videos will be much better too. Um, so that's something I'm really looking forward to. I got to figure out the gym situation, see if I have membership to the college gym. So we'll see about that. And let's see. So, oh, George says he's in the FIRE movement. You're right. It requires low costs, no debt, and high income. Yeah, and see, those are my problems because low costs, I mean, you could debate and say maybe I have low costs. I'm working on that anyhow, and I'm pretty cheap. No debt, well, I got a ton of that, and high income. And yeah, like the job I had last year, if I would have worked the hours that they wanted, 84 hours a week for an entire year, I would have made like 235,000 last year. But normally, when it's not some kind of temporary job, I make like 30,000 a year. So it was like a temporary thing, and I did get a lot of money saved, and I got a lot of debt paid off. I definitely tried to like maximize that opportunity, but that's probably a one thing. Jennifer wants to know, are you investing in stock market now? Yeah, a little bit. I don't have extra money to put toward it, but I'll tell you what I do have. I have I have two IRAs. I have a rollover IRA, which is traditional, and I have a Roth IRA. And basically with that, I have tried to, how do I say? So basically, the like former employers where they close out your retirement account because you leave, they will actually, if you don't, they'll like pay it out to you, and you have to pay taxes if you don't put it in another account. So I've put all of those in this like one account. There's some of them I still need to do a backdoor Roth conversion to, but I just play around with the money that's in my retirement accounts because I don't have a high enough balance to invest in like the index funds or the target date funds that I want to. So I've bought some individual stocks. Apple's the one I've made the most money on. And let's see, and still, okay, so investing in the stock market. Now, I do have Webull, but I only got like the free stocks. I have Robinhood, which I have the one free stock. I have Public, which I have like 1 or 2 free stocks that I got with that. So I've got all those little things in there. Um, and the one that I will tell you guys about that I'm happy about the most is SoFi, which I had SoFi because I had originally intended to, at some point, refinance my student loans. And that's what I know SoFi as. And then they started doing free credit score checks, so I had credit monitoring through them. And then they started SoFi Invest. And the cool thing about it is if you just log in every day, they give you these little points. And the like they add up. Basically, you get 1 point a day. Every fifth day, you get like 5 or 6 points, and then at the end of the week, you can cash that in. So it's like 17 points a week equals like 17 cents. So it's free money. It's a very small amount, but I'm actually investing that in that. So I have Tesla and SpaceX right now. I'm also in TGIF, which is a fund. It's just a income producing fund, and then VNQ, which is a Vanguard real estate. It's a REIT, I believe, and that's what I'm invested in there. I think my entire balance in that account is like $8, something like that. But when I'm making 1 cent a day and just investing it weekly, that's like basically what's going on with that. But I'm really happy with SoFi. And if any of you aren't members of any of this stuff, either SoFi, Webull, Public, or Robinhood, let me know in the comment thread, and I will contact you, um, and we can set that up, because basically most of these things there's like a referral bonus, and like you get something for signing up with my code and I get something for referring you. So we can do that if you'd like. Okay, let's see. Chat kind of went wild here, so let me see. But yeah, Jennifer, that's what I'm doing with the stock market right now. I'm not doing anything super big with it. So George Dingus says, of course, no matter what happens, stocks go up and down in the short term. I ignore that. I invest in index funds and just keep buying. Yeah, and I'm going to get more into target funds and index funds with my actual retirement money, once I have contributed enough to get into like the minimum threshold. A lot of them have like a $3,000 minimum. Compounding interest, yeah. But even just having them mostly in individual stocks, I'm still making like a 20% return. Like, it's really good. Colors of Avon says, you have extremely low costs. That's why I watch you, because I'm interested in this type of series on keeping costs low. Okay. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like, I'm just kind of cheap. Like, I do watch my finances, but just even if I had a lot of money, I would still be pretty cheap. And I mean, it's probably just learned from, my environment growing up. But yeah, so I do try to keep everything low, and then by reducing all of my utilities and all of my rent starting in August, then yeah, my expenses will be very, very, very low. And I just need to focus a little bit more on creating more income. But I guess by having most of my costs covered now by this new job, I can work on YouTube and increasing the income from that. Ashley says, what's going on with your student loans now? Have you considered PSLF? So PSLF, I believe, is Public Servant Loan Forgiveness or something like that. I don't think I qualify for that. The company that I worked for last summer, where I made all the money, that was technically a nonprofit, but I don't think that it was qualified for that. So I don't think that I could do it. But basically what's going on with my student loans right now is I have 2 with Navient. I have 2, I think, with Great Lakes. And then I have 3 that I defaulted on years ago, and I have no idea where those are, and they're not trying to collect on them. So most likely those I won't ever have to pay. And in fact, the statute of limitations passed on one of them here pretty recently. Now the Navient one, I just pay the monthly payment, which between the two is about $350 a month. and it's making very slow progress in paying that down. Once I get in a better place, I can focus more on making extra payments toward those. And then with the federal loans, which there are two of those, the federal loans, basically I'm in a plan where I have a $0 per month payment. Everybody has a $0 per month payment right now through September, but after September, I'm still qualified for that $0 payment. And then those do eventually get forgiven after 25 years. So for me, that's when is that? 2037 will be when that is. So, uh, I mean, at some point, I might have to make a larger payment, but there's no way I'm going to be like paying all that off. And uh, part of that third stimulus bill was that for a certain number of years, uh, you're not going to be able to be taxed on canceled student debt. So that will help with that as well. Justin Carroll says, Mark, if someone is retired and doesn't have any income, just their savings, a high credit score of 750 plus, and we're wanting to rent an apartment, how do apartments handle that? So it's going to vary company by company, and more realistically, probably regional manager to regional manager. Because that's who it's ultimately going to go to for approval from the site level. If the credit is great, which it would be. Okay. Looks like we're finished answering the question. Okay, it might have cleared up. So to get back to answering the question, if somebody is retired, has no income, has their savings, a great credit score, and wants an apartment, the two things you've got going is you got great credit score and you've got savings. So it's going to depend on your savings. Basically what would happen is you're going to have to show bank statements showing how much you have in savings. And I definitely have seen that some apartments in unusual circumstances will just look and be like, you know, oh, they have $100, $200, $300,000 in their account. Yeah, they're good to go. Especially when combined with a good credit score. What I will say is that it seems like they would probably just let you pay off the lease, like just, you know, when you move in, pay off the entire 12 months. But most places will not let you do that because if you pay the rent, if they've accepted rent for that month, they can't evict you. So some places won't pay or won't let you pay rent in advance at all. Some will limit it to like 2 or 3 months. So you're going to have to work individually with the apartment complexes that you're applying to, or the landlords, or however you're handling that. Tell them the situation, show them the credit is good, show them the bank statement showing what money is in there. They're probably going to have to verify all that with the bank because, I mean, I know that we run it. We don't trust anything anybody brings into us. We run everything in property management. So that's probably what you're going to look at, is that they're going to want to double check. But I don't think you'd have too much of a hassle finding an apartment. Oh yeah, Justin said usually they want to see a regular paycheck. That's true, and that's what they're always going to ask for because they just kind of assume that everyone's in that position. But if you're not, yeah, absolutely, just show them credit and bank statements, and if they want you to pay a higher deposit or if they want you to pay 2 or 3 months rent, then that could be an option too. George says, I don't like or trust the new apps. Not after the Robinhood fiasco. And I know what you're talking about, the GameStop thing. I just buy shares of Vanguard index funds directly from Vanguard. Easy and cheapest option. And then George was talking to Justin here, said if they have no retirement income but savings to live off of, all they have to do is show their account balances. Yeah, and that's true. That's basically what it would be like in the property management world. And you can always, You can always, if you know somebody that works in the industry, there is like a secret Facebook group for the property management and maintenance industry that has like 50,000 members, that we all go to ask questions of each other. So basically, if you were to approach somebody and they didn't have that direct answer, like, or if you know somebody that is in the industry, that could ask that question for you if they don't know it offhand, then they'll be able to go to that group and ask. Because I've asked questions in there about my personal situation too. Oh, and you're welcome. You're welcome, Justin. Um, so yeah. Um, oh, Jennifer, would you consider moving to Europe? Yeah, absolutely. Um, Absolutely. I haven't traveled there yet, um, and I really would love to visit, um, to check it out. I really think I'd like it. Living there, yeah, I'd probably like it. I'd be the dumb American. I get that, but I mean, it'd be worth it to get away from this place. Um, I'm probably one of the few Americans that will tell you that I don't like it here. And there's a lot of there are a lot of problems that are trying to escape from. Primarily for me and my girlfriend at this point, we're just trying to get health care, and that's an enormous problem. And my other major problem, obviously, is student loan debt, which is an American problem. If I was not here, my life would be much better. Um, so yeah, absolutely. And Jennifer, if you have any suggestions of where to go that would take Americans who are not like doctors or have some reason to be there, but just would let us live there as average citizens, you know, I would love to find out about that. And okay, okay, I'm gonna butcher this name. Fifi Fifi Foxglove says, "What do you think of OnlyFans? And would you date a girl with an OnlyFans for sex work?" Um, I don't have any problem with OnlyFans. Trying to think about the answer to your question. I think, yeah, maybe I would. Date a girl who has one. I I think if I knew about it up front and I could just make the decision of like, oh, am I cool with that? And I'd be like, I guess I'm cool with that, and then just move forward. Like it wouldn't be that big a deal. Um, Now it would be different, like if my girlfriend now started doing it, because I'd be like, well, now hold up, like I know you have every right to do this, but I would have liked to have had the discussion before that started, you know. Um, and but I mean, I'm not completely opposed to it. I'm not super comfortable with it, but again, I'm not completely opposed. And if she were doing that and like was making a good living and was just, I mean, happy doing it and was happier doing that than being a waitress, like, okay, okay. But I just want her to be straightforward and upfront with me, from the beginning about it. And with the only stipulation that like the type of content, if she's doing like pictures, fine. Um, More than that might be an issue, and definitely nothing in person. I wouldn't be okay with that. Um, so that's just a conversation we'd have to have. Um, but yeah, like currently, my girlfriend doesn't do anything like that. But if she did, yeah, it's just a conversation for us to have. I don't want her to ever feel that she can't tell me about that. Because yeah, I'm gonna be understanding about it. George says take a Euro trip. Take like a month. Stop in England, France, Germany, Belgium, Switzerland, Italy, etc. Eat delicious food, see Roman roads, ride the Euro trains. Yeah, I mean, I would love to. I got to be able to afford that, so that's going to be an issue. But when I can, I will. No, it's just like here. You can't stay in EU more than 90 days, I think, without a work visa or permanent residence. And those are hard to get for Americans. Yeah, mostly high tech or something. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was like mostly like doctors and people like that. Now, my girlfriend is. I actually looked into this. So her dad's direct line, they're fairly um, they're like fairly recent Irish immigrants, but she's like one generation too far to be able to even apply or be eligible for citizenship um, through that. So that's not enough for us. Um, and my family's been here forever. Like we're since the 1600s on every line. So like there's no hope for me. Um, Ashley says, have you considered ESL teaching online to Chinese kids? You can make decent money as a side hustle if you have a bachelor's. Yeah, and I do have a bachelor's degree. Um, I, a couple years ago, almost signed up to do VIP Kid, and I actually went to like an in-person training for them, but I realized I just like didn't like doing that. I am in the process of signing up for Preply, which is I I think better than VIP Kid, and you can do other stuff. Um, like one of the things is I don't know if you guys know this. I actually played trumpet. I played in high school and college, and well, I just realized I don't even know where my trumpet is. Like since the move, I have no idea where it even went to. But I play trumpet, and even though I haven't played for years now, I could give lessons online to kids and charge a decent amount for it. And Preply is a site where you can give those kind of lessons. So that might be something that I'm going to do. Oh, and he said, okay, thank you. You seem like a nice boyfriend. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I try to be good to her, you know. Um, and Yeah, all right. Well, I mean, keep the questions rolling, guys. We're at the bottom of the chat, so if there are any more, keep them coming. I'll keep answering. Jennifer says, do you donate to charity, and what organizations do you like? I don't. I contributed to, it was some obscure, I think it was like National Kidney Foundation or something. Basically, I donated a bunch of stuff to them when I left Columbus and got, a little receipt. Um, and I have in the past donated to my fraternity. I won't be doing that much anymore because I'm also working for the fraternity, so it doesn't make a lot of sense to make your money from them and then also just give it right back. If I were to donate anything, it would be, instead of like big national organizations, it would be for things that are important to me. I don't know if I'd ever donate to my school. They're constantly asking for money, and I still owe a ton of money from going there. Um, yeah, but yeah, fraternity. That's an important thing to me. I see a big return on that. So obviously they just gave me a job, so I could do that one for sure. I'm gonna adjust my lights here, guys. I don't know if that's any better. It was like super bright. Cool. If you could start over completely from scratch, would you consider medicine or law as a career? Um, I mean, I guess I could consider them. Um, I'm not sure I'd like any of them, though. I used to work at an apartment complex that a lot of people were either doctors or medical students, and I see the horrible hours that they work, the horrible work-life balance that doctors have. My girlfriend wanted to be a surgeon, and she was in medical school. Not, well, okay, not medical school. She was pre-med, but she got sick and you know had to take medical leave, and then they wouldn't let her come back from the medical leave. So she's still wanting to continue her education eventually, but just because of how old she would, my girlfriend's 31, so um, just if she was starting back and doing pre med now, and then going to medical school, and then she wanted to be a surgeon, so going on past that, like she'd be super old by the time she was practicing, and she just doesn't want to do it now. But so I probably would not do medicine. Also, I have blood injury injection phobia. I hate needles. I hate blood. In certain situations, it doesn't freak me out. Like, for example, like I said, my girlfriend has a lot of health problems. Her blood doesn't freak me out for some reason. Mine, it's 50-50 whether it's going to. Sometimes I nearly pass out, other times it doesn't bother me at all. Um, so, couldn't do anything medical. Now, law, I could. I could. And I'm actually good at it. I know a lot about the law, and I don't know if you guys know this, but I actually did practice as an attorney. Um, I don't know if this is just an Ohio thing, but a judge can allow you in their particular court to act as an attorney, not just for yourself, but I actually acted as my mom's. And I was able to do that for several years, up against the judge and other attorneys, and I did pretty well. But my experience is that judges and lawyers are just complete assholes. That if you don't keep them in check constantly, they won't follow any kind of law whatsoever. They'll pull over. They'll you know pull over on you anything that they can, and I would always come out of there so upset every day, and I just don't want to be around people like that. It's like, yeah, I argued successfully to get my mom out of stuff, but it's like, I don't want to deal with those people. So no, I don't think I do law either. That's why, like, even though I'm disappointed that I didn't find like a traditional career path, um, and move up the corporate ladder and become successful that way. I think just as I'm getting older, I'm realizing most career paths I wouldn't be happy with, and so then I have gotten to the point now where it's just like, you know what? I'm tired of everybody messing with me. I'm tired of unreliable employment, getting laid off, getting pay cuts, employers treating me like crap. It's unfortunate I can't go the quote unquote correct path with this, but I'm going to end up being happier and making more money just doing this on my own. And it looks like there's a ton of comments, so let me get to them here. Never met. Wait, what? George says you will live in a house on campus. I will live in a house. It is not technically on campus, but it's like fairly near the university. So yeah, I'll live in a fraternity owned house. Yeah. It. Oh, okay. I don't know how I missed your comment. I'm doing these out of order. Most lawyers and doctors are miserable. Never met one who said, "Yeah, kid, go for it. We love this job." Yeah, I will tell you that my attorney that I have on retainer for my student loans, I've even talked to her about how I still considered going to like the law school at night for adults. And she's like, well, as an attorney, I have to say what every attorney would say to you and don't do it. Like, everyone I know who is an attorney is like, absolutely do not do this. And Justin Carroll says, law sucks, lol. George Dingus, they are rich and unhappy. Justin Carroll says most lawyers aren't even working as lawyers. I've seen that. Actually, there is a girl that I used to work with at Jimmy John's, and her husband was a lawyer, and he hated it. And now he owns a used car lot. There's like 10 law schools that matter, and the rest don't produce lawyers who make money. Justin says that's true for the most part, unless you can get like a 165 plus on LSAT. Forget it, lol. I think that's a super high score from what I remember. Actually, have you guys ever heard of the channel Legal Eagle? If you guys are interested in law, you should watch some of his videos. Um, George says, if I had to start over again as a kid, I'll tell you what I'd do. I'd skip college, do the military for 4 years, learn a trade there like welding or gunsmithing. All right. I mean, personally, I couldn't do the military thing, but and then we were about to die. Salute you. Hey, welcome, welcome to my patron. I have a question. Why do you start your live streams at 4 p.m.? Wow, nice apartment. Yeah, thank you. I mean, it looks like a disaster back here right now, but this is actually for $500 a month. Like, and despite you guys can't hear it for some reason, and I'm glad it doesn't come through on camera. But there is so much road noise. It is loud 24/7 in this apartment. But thank you. Yes, I mean it is. I can definitely see the nice aspects of the apartment, and it's only $500 a month. You guys should move to West Virginia where it's cheap. Um, but okay, so to answer your question, why I started at 4 p.m. Basically, a bunch of stuff happened the last couple weeks of April. I got super behind. I didn't film the budget review. I didn't film the budget with me for this month yet. And I also didn't do the live stream. So I'm trying to catch up, and this is the first day I had to catch up on stuff. So basically, I just wanted to start, get this out of the way, do this. That way, I could definitely make sure that as quick as possible, I got everything caught up and back on track. And I looked at, there's metrics we can look at on the back end, and it basically said, of my subscribers, 4 p.m. was the first time where a good majority of them would be online. George says, oh, this is continuing on his story. Get out, get my VA benefits. Yeah, those are nice. My grandpa had, my mom still gets a veteran's pension for my stepdad. My grandpa got a pension, plus the last 4 or 5 years of his life, he was in a nursing home and they paid for everything. Keep working as a welder, join a union, make bank with no debt. Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously the trades, yes. Jennifer says, why was your mom in court and in need of a lawyer? That is a very long story. So I always wanted to make videos about that as it was going on, but my mom made me promise that I would not put anything online about it until after it's over. And she's still sort of going through it. She's got past the worst parts, but she's still sort of in this whole like legal quagmire. So I can't really say much about it. She wasn't in legal trouble. It was more like, it was like an old people thing. And then like, I don't know, there's a whole bunch of lawyers involved and agencies and stuff, and a lot of things that were done wrong and complicated this whole thing. But basically, that's probably all I can really say about it, is just that she got involved in the court system, but in like a civil manner, not a criminal manner. Okay. Colors of Avon. Is there a difference between a lawyer and a used car? Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Yeah. And George says, will you get rid of the storage unit before you move to North Carolina? I'm not going to be able to. I have done a ton of work in there. And like I've told you guys before, I'm filming video as I'm working in there. Setting up the shelving, moving stuff around, getting space on the floor, being able to walk in there, starting to sort through things. But just time-wise, if I put 40 hours a week, every week I hit here until I am, there is no way in hell I'm going to be able to do that. George says, brother, you stick that stuff in a truck and take it to North Carolina. Save money. Well, I will have to see what kind of space I'm working with when I get down there. Like, I agree with you that yeah, saving the $65 a month would be fine. The only thing is I have to have a storage unit here because my mom has a storage unit here, and basically we're trying to get rid of hers. So as I sort through mine, I'm making space to put hers once I sort through it. So basically, I have my mom's storage unit for $65 a month, my storage unit for $65 a month. We're getting rid of my mom's, which will be a savings of $65 a month. But until like I own a property where I have my own storage building, I'm gonna have to keep paying that because my mom needs her stuff stored near her, which she does live in the same town as my storage unit, so that kind of works out for that. So it's complicated, unfortunately. I had hoped I was going to be able to get rid of it, but once my mom sold her house and put it all in storage, it kind of became my responsibility. And she lives in a nursing home, so she doesn't have any room to store anything. You'll be managing that fraternity facility, right? You can find that hidden pantry for storage. Okay, I don't know. I don't know if you're talking about the hidden pantry we had at the house in Morgantown, but there was a hidden room in the fraternity house in Morgantown. There was there's like the ballroom downstairs, and then there's like this room that they used for storage. But somehow the guys figured out that if you went through the ventilation system from there, they had to literally crawl through the ventilation system. There is an actual room that's underground, but we don't know what it's for. But oh, are you still planning to stay child free? Yeah, absolutely. And I wish I could give you a lot of details about that, but I figure my girlfriend probably wouldn't appreciate it. But after all these years, we finally had that conversation, and she's completely on board for being child free. Thank God. And not only that, but we're going to be making that permanent. Not me, her. But so that is not going to be a concern, thankfully. She likes kids. I don't. But she also doesn't want any of her own. So I have a very reasonable girlfriend, and it's awesome. So yeah, no, I just really like that she's so like, understanding and, just gets it. So do you have any friends? Jennifer says, do you have any friends living close to you to hang out and talk to, etc., good for mental health? I really don't, and that's one of my biggest problems. I live in my hometown, but I live in West Virginia. I don't know if you guys have ever heard the phrase 44 per day, but 44 people leave West Virginia every day. This place is just, no one wants to be here. It is just a god-awful hellhole. And, of course, that is not good for your mental health to have to deal with everything wrong with this place. But, it's... Everybody I know has left. Everyone I went to high school with, everyone I went to college with. There's a few people I've come across that I went to elementary school with that are all on drugs and everything else now that I wouldn't want to be around. I mean, my girlfriend's here, my mom's here, and my dad's here. My dad and I don't talk, and we haven't for years. And let's see, my mom, we're working on our relationship, but I'm pretty bad about calling and seeing her, so I need to get better about that. But my mom's never going to be like somebody I can like rely on to talk to or hang out with. I do have a couple friends, but they don't live locally, so it's always like phone calls and that kind of stuff. I did also lose a lot of friends over the years post college, and a lot of connections I had. The 2016 election kind of ruined every other friendship I had. And I'm still pretty bitter about that because everybody I know is a hardcore, like, right wing. And the reason I'm mad about it is, like, I never said anything about my politics to anybody. Like, we never got into discussions. People just assumed things about me. And then people got so divided during that election that just, like, I lost everyone at that point. So yeah, that's it sucks. It sucks. I have my girlfriend and a couple distant friends who I never see in person, and that's pretty much it. And then I have my little brother in my fraternity, who I'm terrible at staying in contact with, but he lives in Minneapolis, which of course I could go see him or I could reach out, but I'm really bad at staying in contact with people, even though I want to. And let's see, so George says, yeah, that's what I meant, or that's what I mean. You can put anything you want there. Haha. That's true. That's true. I'll have to scope out the situation. So they sent me some pictures and video of the room that we're gonna have there, and it's a weird setup. I, and I don't know how to like really even describe it. We'll have a lot of room, but I got to talk to the girl about how much of it is going to be able to be used as storage space. There is a walk-in closet, but she she really has a need for her own space, and I think we're gonna actually use that walk-in closet as sort of like an indoor she shed for her, where she just has her own space to go to. And I know when I say walk-in closet, it's like, why would you go sit in a closet? It's bigger than a normal walk-in closet. Like it's kind of like a small room. Um, so that way she has her own space. And let's see. So how could you go about finding a good apartment? Any online review sites, price per square foot? The thing about apartments, every apartment complex is going to have terrible reviews, like every one of them. It's just, it comes with the industry. So you kind of have to balance out how many. Like the ones that have hundreds of bad reviews, those are really actually bad places. The ones that have just a few, they're probably fairly good. Um, I wouldn't I wouldn't go by price per square foot unless you just like really, are really trying to find like a value for an apartment. I'd probably look for neighborhood first, city first, and then the neighborhood you like, close to whatever you need, and then like know your price range and like look in that price range. That'll narrow it down further. See where it is available. That'll narrow it down further, like what has availability currently. And then you'll get it narrowed down to the point where you'll be able to tour some of them and then just make a decision um, between just a few of them. Your mom watched college football and your dad was not interested in sports. Weird. Yeah, actually, well, that's the same thing. I'm not interested in sports like hardly at all. My girlfriend is super into sports. She played like every sport imaginable in high school. She's like a multiple letterman. She got a scholarship to play basketball in college, and even now, she's hardcore into working out and just like really is very into athletics, and you know all the games she plays. Even like she has PS4. She plays like FIFA and stuff like that. Super super into sports. And so we just have like the weirdest gender roles. Like we do. We're like so completely backward in our gender roles. But yeah, my parents were sort of the same way. Yeah, usually the guys like sports and the females do not really care for them. Yeah. Now my mom never shared her love of sports with me. It was just kind of something that like I knew of. Um, George says John Denver said it was heaven, and I believe his songs. Well, George, when I move away from West Virginia, I'm going to be making a video about what it's really like here. And I know that somewhere in the thumbnail or the title, oh, hey, thank you. Thank you again, Jennifer. Wishing for a long storytime video next video. It won't be the absolute next video, but you will have a very long storytime video for sure when I make the video about The Office, which I don't want to promise anything, but I should be able to film it this month or next. And then you should also have another one for when I worked my last job, the one that I had last summer and into the fall. So those are two at least story times that will be coming soon. I still need to make my Whole Foods video and a couple of other ones like that. And then I'm going to have like my moving apartments, and then I'm going to have like the one I'm talking about here to George, like my almost hell West Virginia video. Um, so yeah, I will definitely be talking about that stuff a lot. Jennifer says your face lights up when you talk about your girlfriend. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Like, um, yeah, I can't hide that. She definitely sees that. But yeah, we're going out tomorrow. Um, I gotta. There is nothing to do in this town. It's like it's always like, hey, let's go out, and then it's like, all right, cool. What do we do? Everything is closed, and there was nothing to do here in the first place. So it's like, uh, so basically, I have to be super creative. But I got so creative for tomorrow's date idea because there was literally nothing to do here that now I'm just like stoked to like actually pull it off because I'm so proud of myself for figuring out something fun to do. Um, let's see. Oh, what is your height? So, without shoes, I am 5'9 1/4. That also does not include my little hair poof. So, I guess people think that's short for a guy, although I think technically the average is like 5'7". Um, I think I look short because my friends are mostly tall, and my dad's 6'1" or 6'2", something like that. But my mom was 5'1", and so I came out at least on the right end of it. My girlfriend's like 5'5", so I'm still like much larger than her, um, and I don't feel short. But I have a friend who always she's like 5'8" and a girl, and she's always telling me how um, how short I am. But I don't think I'm short. And I'll tell you, I've got a pair of leather boots, and when I wear them, I am 6 foot. So, let's see here. So, Max says, I have the money in savings to afford an apartment, but I don't think a place would rent to me because I have a low income. Any advice? Yeah, so I had somebody ask something similar to this earlier in the stream. But basically, okay. So what I would do, depend if you're just gonna do 1 year there, they might be okay with it. They are gonna have to do something with the income, but you could definitely, if you wanted to pay the 12 months up front, or if you want to just show them your bank statement showing that you have all the money in there, some places will work with you on that. And more so, maybe even private landlords would. Then we get to Jennifer, who says, wishing for a long story time video next video. So I will really try. I will really try because I think probably the best one to do right now would probably be about The Office, so you guys can find out what the hell happened there. Justin Carroll says, yeah, I've heard Eastern Kentucky and West Virginia can have bad water. Boil advisories. Well, yes, you're absolutely right about the bad water. There's actually 2 movies about the water in my town. One is called The Devil We Know. Um, that is a documentary. And then the other one is Dark Waters, which just came out in like December 2019. And they're both movies about how the water in this town is poisonous. And so I am subjecting myself to that right now for being here. Electricity going out for days. I haven't seen that since 2012 when we had a derecho, but it was out for like a week or two. Some people live without water and electricity indoors. Now that is true. The majority of West Virginia does not have electricity or running water, or internet or paved roads or anything like that. That is very true. So there's a lot of, if you're going to go off the interstate here, there's a lot of things that you just need to know before you go. There are not going to be banks or ATMs. There's probably not going to be electricity. There will be no cell phone service. You got to take cash everywhere. Most places only take cash. Oh, Jennifer says, cool. Looking forward to the story times you mentioned. Yeah, I'm going to try to focus on the Office story time and what went wrong there and how it just was like crazy. Um, When are you moving to North Carolina? I am supposed to be in North. Oh, I mentioned Miss George's comment, but I'll get back to it. I'm moving to North Carolina. I'm supposed to be there August 1st. I'm probably actually end up gonna be there around August 15th. I have to get myself moved in, and then I have to do the move-in for the guys moving into the house, and then I have to fly back here and get the girlfriend and drive her down because she has to be in her apartment until September 1st. George says, "Would you take 5 million if you had to spend the rest of your life in West Virginia?" Yeah, as long as I could pick where I'm at in West Virginia, yeah. Because there are a very few parts of West Virginia that aren't completely terrible. Like if you go in the Eastern Panhandle, like the easternmost tip of the Eastern Panhandle is basically Metro DC. Um, that area culturally is nothing like West Virginia. That could be. There are a couple other pockets too, like Fayetteville. Um, yeah, I'm struggling to come up with any other even acceptable place in West Virginia, but basically, one of those two places could work. Uh, would you? Oh, Jennifer says, would you want to do a road trip through USA? I mean, sure. Are you driving? um, yeah. If you're serious, yeah, let me know. I'm down. Um, so let's see. Colors of Avon says, "Wow. Are there any other films based in West Virginia that are worth watching?" Yeah. So there are not too many movies about West Virginia about this area, but there's, I would say, October Sky. That was one I liked when I was in high school. That is about what we call the Rocket Boys. There's some guys from the coal fields who got an education for themselves, and they all ended up working at NASA as rocket scientists. Um, there's also the movie Matewan. It was one of my dad's favorites. I've actually been to the filming location for it. Um, Matewan is about the mine wars in the 1920s. Most people don't know this, but there was a war in West Virginia in the 1920s where the state was under occupation by the military. Um, and let's see, Mothman Prophecies, maybe. The X Files movie is here. Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Um, Silent Hill. Um, Wrong Turn, the entire series. Oh, about knocked the camera over. What else? Oh, if you guys can find it, there's something called The Dancing Outlaw. It was a bootleg VHS tape, but it might be somewhere out there on the internet. And that's a guy named Jesco White that my dad knew way back in the day. That he does tap dancing, and you guys might be more familiar with his family from a movie that Johnny Knoxville made called The Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia. So my dad grew up, well, not grew up knowing those people, but uh, in his research for his career, he knew those people. I'm trying to think. I know I'm probably missing a ton of like a ton of actual movies. Um, oh, Jennifer says, any part of USA to stay away from? I wouldn't say like stay away from in the sense that it's like dangerous or anything. Um, I mean, there are places that are going to be boring that you're like, why did I even come here? Uh, I would say Muskogee, Oklahoma would be one of those. It's the closest town I have found to my hometown. It's very similar. Um, there are definitely probably a lot more of those places that just you're like, man, why does anybody live here? Um, I have not traveled a lot of the U.S. I've seen almost all of the South and the East Coast. Well, yeah, almost the South, East Coast, Midwest. I've not been to New England at all. Um, And I haven't been out west, technically. I've been in Texas in the airport twice. I think twice. I've been in Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming. And if you get that area is amazing if you get to see that. Um, oh, cash. Wow, yeah. Colors of Avon. Yeah, most places here only take cash, and a lot of the reason for that is a lot of places don't have even dial-up internet access in order to take a credit card. Uh, Ashley says, I live in southern New Jersey and people say it sucks here because of the high taxes, but at least we have running water and electricity. Yeah, so we actually have both here. West Virginia has some of the highest tax rates of any state. Literally everything is taxed here. Um, just the most ridiculous stuff. Like, if you have a dog, we have personal property taxes. You have to pay taxes on the dog every year. Same with a bicycle, same with a car. We used to have food tax, which they just did away with recently, but it used to be like when you go to the grocery store to buy groceries, they taxed that too. Um, they finally did away with it. I think it was maybe 2013 they did away with it. But the taxes here, it's weird. This is such a right-wing state, but the taxes here are so extremely high. Um, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. But everything costs more here too, which you guys are seeing in my budget reviews. Renter's insurance is like 3 times as much here. Car insurance, well, my car's still registered in Ohio, but car insurance here is like double what it is anywhere else. It makes no sense. And Colors of Avon says wrong turn with Sean Penn. I'm not sure. I don't remember who was in it. I just know it's the one like with the inbred cannibals. And if you think that movie is an exaggeration, please come to West Virginia because you will see things like that. Oh, Jennifer, best and worst job you've ever had. I gotta say probably Candid was my best job. I really loved working there. I really loved building that business and being a part of it. I'm still upset that I got laid off. Um, there was so much about it that I liked. I even got my girlfriend a job there. She was supposed to start just a few days before I got laid off. But that didn't end up happening. But yeah, I really was pretty loyal to that company. Oh, The Hills Have Eyes. I have not really seen that. I've seen parts of it because one of my friends was watching it when I was at their house. I don't think that's based in West Virginia though. Oh, and then so wait, so that was the best job I've ever had. The worst job I've ever had, maybe working in American Eagle. I made a video about that. I think that's the only job that I like ever literally dreaded going to. Then I made the video that I think it was just called I Quit My Job. That was where I worked 7 days a week, 70 hours a week. So that one was not good. Um, I'm not sure. Of course, if you guys want, it's like an hour and a half long, but there's the whole story of working at Abercrombie. That wasn't my worst job by far, but it was a weird one. Like there was a lot of drama there. Give me just 1 second, guys. I gotta check on something. Okay. Okay, Sandra's here. Jumping in late because it's late over here in France. Wish you a trouble-free move and smoother roads ahead. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and thank you for coming in. It's like 6 p.m. Eastern time on the East Coast of the U.S. Justin says, reminds me of Arkansas where I live. Mostly poor and rural, but high taxes. Income taxes, high sales taxes, taxes on grocery, property taxes, etc. Yeah. Yeah, it makes no sense because all those areas are like super conservative and, politically they're just against taxes. But yet, those are the areas that have like the highest taxes. Um, Colors of Avon. Oh yeah, the hills have eyes. Ashley says, "Wow, at least New Jersey schools are good for the money. Wait, good for the all the money they put into them. 2 or 3 ranked in the country." I don't feel like West Virginia schools are super great, but I only went here kindergarten through sixth, and I went to school in Ohio. They weren't super great either, but I guess I can't totally have an opinion about West Virginia schools. Justin says the Arkansas state tax rate on groceries is only like 0.1%, but there's a city/county taxes. North Little Rock adds 3% tax on groceries. I think the state tax here was 3%, and there might have even been like local taxes added on top of that. It was quite a bit of difference. And they actually took it away because everyone would just drive over to the border to the next state uh, to to avoid that. And Ashley says everyone around here goes to Delaware to get big purchases to avoid sales tax. Yeah, Ashley, I worked for about 3 weeks in Glen Mills, PA, which is like pretty much right on the border of Delaware. And I was driving over to Delaware sometimes for stuff, and I went to the mall over there, over in Wilmington. I didn't even realize that they didn't have a sales tax. I guess I didn't buy that much over there, but I just like never even realized um, that it was like a tax situation. Ah, hey, and Jennifer, I don't know if you're still in the chat, but I don't think I got an answer to the question I asked you. If you were taking a road trip in the U.S., um, let me know if you're actually doing that. Oh, there's Jennifer. Why have neither you or the girlfriend learned to cook? It is not that hard, cheaper and healthier as well. Well, I'll tell you what. Last year, when the girlfriend and I were talking about moving in together, I said something like, well, one of us is gonna learn how to cook, and like not skipping beat, she's like, well, it's gonna have to be you. Like she is just not interested at all, um, and I respect that. I don't know why, but whatever. I'll learn to cook and I'll cook for her. I'm fine with that. It's just really a time thing, really. Um, yeah, yeah, it's definitely more of like a time issue with everything that I've got going on. Uh, I have like zero time anyway. Um, Now I don't eat out every meal. I get a lot of frozen stuff and stuff that I heat up. Some of it, yeah, is like prepackaged TV dinners. My favorite thing is Bird's Eye Voila, which is basically a thing that has noodles, vegetables, and meat in it, and sometimes a sauce packet that you just heat up in a skillet. Those are, well, they're probably not the healthiest thing, but they're definitely better for you than like frozen processed stuff. So I do try to eat a lot of those. So I end up getting a lot of fruits and vegetables. But yeah, yeah, I agree with you. I'm eventually gonna have to learn. Maybe after the girl and I get a place of our own that is not a fraternity house. Which, by the way, I don't know if you guys picked up on that, but my girlfriend's gonna be living in a fraternity house with me. So that got approved somehow. um, and oh, Jennifer says I am considering once the pandemic's over. Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, let me know if you come to Raleigh. That's probably where I'll be at that point. I don't know about international travel right now. If you're vaccinated, you're probably fine to come here. I will tell you that in the U.S., at least where I'm at, there are zero COVID restrictions. No one wears a mask. No one got the vaccine. It's nobody's doing anything. But I think as long as you're vaccinated, you'd be fine to come here. Colors of Avon says in Cali, our city taxes are 10%. Yeah, that seems like a lot. I mean, I guess it would depend on what you get for that. Like I lived in Columbus, and the tax rate was a little bit high, but like they did have like a lot of services for that. it's like I think the rates here are a lot higher, and like the roads are barely passable. um, Jennifer says feeding ourselves is part of being grown up, in my opinion. Oh yeah, take this comment lighthearted. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not offended. Uh, I am definitely not completely grown up, and I guess I don't ever want to completely be. I'm a kid at heart, and I like that. So, um, I don't know, but maybe this is one of the important ways in which I need to be a little bit more grown up. Um, as I make more money from the businesses and can not worry about that as much, yeah, that's something that I'll eventually have to find time to learn. And so she works really hard, and since she's going back to work here soon, I'm going to start cooking her dinner when she gets off work. She gets home around like 1 a.m. and she's just tired. And, I want to do something nice for her because she works hard. And so that's, yeah, basically something that I want to do for her. Ashley says try budget bites. Okay, I actually don't know what that is, but I'm going to look that up right now. Is that like a meal prep service? Oh, okay. Okay, cool. I didn't know this existed. Okay, yeah, I'll look into it. Um, cool. Yeah, no, I didn't know what that was, but I'll see if I can get that book from the library so I don't have to pay for it. Um, let's see here. Colors of Avon says it's super high. Yeah, your city taxes in California. Yeah. So I haven't even looked so far into North Carolina to see what tax rates are like there. I don't know what I'm getting into, but as of right now, everything I have is still registered in Ohio. I didn't register it in West Virginia, but I'm just going to switch from Ohio to North Carolina. Yeah, so Jennifer says we pay 30% tax in Sweden, but free healthcare, etc. I mean, that's, yeah, like that's absolutely worth it because, I mean, anything regarding healthcare here is just absolutely ridiculous. Like, my girlfriend, it's been a few months ago, but she was telling me about like some bill she got from a hospital, and she had like a popsicle, and it was $1,800. And then she went to the dentist recently, and she just needs like a few things done, and it's gonna be like $3,000. So, yeah. I mean, this is why we're trying to go somewhere with socialized medicine because, well, yeah, it just works, and what we have here just doesn't work. So we are trying to find something better. I mean, I don't think 30% tax even sounds high. I mean, when you look at the tax rate that Americans are paying, I mean, because I think I'm in like the 15 or 20%. Um, yeah, so I don't think that that's high at all. Plus, I mean, like, when you guys are employed, you get much more than we do. You get leaves, you get vacation. We don't get any of that stuff for the most part. Um, Plus, there's education, which, I mean, I know some places you have to pay a little bit for it. I don't know in Sweden if you do or not, but here, of course, you gotta pay for everything. Jennifer says, "How do you feel about alternative medicine? Is it cheaper?" Uh, I don't know. Um, I'm not sure what alternative medicine would be. Maybe, I guess it's not something I've ever looked into. Um, so I'm not sure if it's cheaper. Yeah, I mean, that's our goal. And I feel like it's kind of ridiculous that we have to leave our country to get health care. Could you talk about the worst boss you ever had? Sure. Well, I've had a couple of them, but I'd say it's either between 2015, the job where I worked 70 hours a week, or 2017, when for a couple months I worked at a real estate brokerage. Um, but I mean, honestly, like, I've made videos about both of those. Um, One was called I Quit My Job, and one was called I'm Going Full Time on YouTube. So if you want to see, like, in detail, because I'm not going to be able to do the story justice here. It's been so long ago since those things happened that I'm going to forget all of, like, the details. Um, yeah, just basically, I'm going to basically forget all of the details of that. Uh, Ashley says blue states have better health care. So I wouldn't know. I've never lived in a blue state. Um, all right. Yeah, thank you for understanding that. I'm just like, it's been so long ago. There's no way I can, like, remember all of those. But it does explain in those videos, like, how the boss was. Uh, but yeah, Ashley says blue states have better health care. I have only lived in, like, Ohio, West Virginia. I lived in Florida for less than a month, one summer for college, and then technically 3 weeks at a time for each of the sites that I was at last year for this job, but haven't lived too many places. Um, Jennifer says, "What is the biggest conflict you've been involved in?" Ah, I don't know. Do you mean like a fight with a person, or do you mean? Hmm, not sure. Well, healthcare can vary so much even in the same city from hospital to hospital. Huh. Okay. That was from Justin. Jennifer says any conflict. Ooh, so the biggest conflict I've been involved in. Um, hmm. I honestly don't know. I don't know how to answer that. Um, I mean, I've gotten into, like, problems, like, at work with bosses. Um, I've had, like, YouTube drama, but it's always been pretty minor. Um, hmm. You don't seem like a confrontational person. No, I like to be pretty easygoing. Um, Now, sometimes people take advantage of that, and they just keep, pushing and pushing and pushing, and eventually I do have to say something and stand up, and I will. I hate doing it, but I will, and then I just come off looking like a huge asshole because, you know, I guess people, if they think that, I guess they think that if they think that you're non-confrontational, that they can take advantage of you. And then if you stand up to them eventually, they get upset about it because they think that you should just be in your place as a non-confrontational person. Um, but I kind of just, like, have two modes. Like, either I'm just, like, chill and I stay chill for as long as I can, but finally when people press me to, like, a certain point, I basically just, like, kind of blow up, but not exactly in an angry way, more in, like, a, okay, listen, I am sick of this, and I will, like, point by point by point, like a persuasive essay, like, explain why I'm right. But yeah, I can't really think of, like, any huge conflict that I've been in. But yeah. So it looks like, and we've been on here for a little over 2 hours. Okay, so Justin says, would you ever want to be on Medicaid, or have you tried it? If Medicaid is like the state medical card, I think I was at one point. Um, like maybe soon after college. And I don't mind. I don't mind. I don't have insurance right now. Honestly, I should probably apply for it and see if I qualify. Um, so I just have not done that yet. But I'm not opposed to it. Um, and Jennifer says, is your dad around? He is. He lives here in town. Um, he and I don't really have a relationship. He, my mom helped me sneak out of the house. It's a long story. My mom helped me sneak out of the house back in 2005, 2006, and I basically disappeared. He's been trying to track me down ever since. And then finally in 2019, we kind of sort of were like talking by email, but he was being very controlling and like demanding. And, I basically just told him, I was like, look, you're making me really uncomfortable. Like, you got to stop. And he just went out of control. So at that point, he didn't say it, but I'm pretty sure he disowned me because I would not give him my address. And, he said well, I forget how he said it, something about being entitled to know where I am. And yeah, so that's where that's at. It's unfortunate I can't really have a relationship with him, but he's just such an asshole. And he just literally tries to control every aspect of my life that I just can't have anything to do with him. So, yeah, pretty much that. But guys, I think I'm gonna let. I know you guys look like you've got a lot of questions still, but we've been on for a couple hours now. Normally I go until everybody's done, but I did tell my girlfriend I'd text her after a couple hours. I didn't realize we'd be on for so long. So I do want to kind of wrap this up here. Just so you guys know, if any of you individually have more questions, any of the people that have been asking a lot of questions today, yeah, Jennifer, she did. My mom had to like help me get out of the situation. It was a bad situation. So but yeah, if any of you have any more questions, I'm willing to talk to you one-on-one. Best way to get a hold of me that way is send me a message through Instagram. If you don't already follow me there, it's just go to Instagram and search for the MarkGoudy. But yeah, like you can just find me there. Feel free to send me a DM. No, Jennifer, you're fine. And actually, what I'm saying right now, if you want to know more, I'm happy talking to you about it. Just send me a DM on Instagram, and I'll tell you more. But yeah, just other than that, guys, I'm just trying to get caught up this month, and I will have videos for you, but they might be late going up. Well, yeah, that's fine. The personal questions, I'm a pretty open person. It's fine. Like I said, if you want to DM me, we can talk. I'm more willing to answer stuff like that, in that kind of context. Oh yeah, thank you. Thank you for coming and participating and for the super chats. I really appreciate that. But yeah, guys, basically, I might be slow to get stuff up this month. I'm trying to get caught up in my life and on YouTube too. But just bear with me, and I will have another one of these live streams toward the end of May. So that'll only be like 3 weeks from now. So I will see you guys then. If you do have any other questions, feel free after this video is uploaded, which will take a day or two, to put them in the comments if you didn't get it in the live chat. And anybody else that had any other questions for me, just send me a DM on Instagram. It's the MarkGoudy. All right, and I will see you guys either in the next video or in the next live stream at the end of the month.